Hi, Rob here with Skidster Solutions. What I'm going to show you today is how to install a supercontroller to operate advanced attachments, such as this rocker boom mower. Some of the attachments available today require more than just the 6 controls that a standard 14-pin could put out. In this case, this mower actually requires 8 momentary controls as well as 1 locking control to turn the mower head on and off. That's simply not available in this machine or any other machine that we know of. So we developed this with the Genius group, and what this does is this will give you actually 8 momentary controls and 2 locking controls. So in this case we'll be able to lock this mower on and off, and we'll actually have 1 spare control that we won't use. But there's lots of applications such as graders and things that this is perfect for. So with that said, we're just going to do an install and we're going to show you how it works. Okay, so the first thing we want to do before we even start this is we're going to run a test on it just to make sure everything is working okay. Inside this box, if we take these 4 screws off, I'll show you there's actually LEDs embedded in the plastic, and what this does is this gives us a direct feedback so we know that everything's working, and we'll be able to use this when we do the install so that we can make sure that everything is in place and everything's operational before we go and put the machine back together. So this is the control box. We've got a little harness here that has a plug-in cigarette lighter adapter. We've got our 14-pin on the other end here. And then these are our joystick controls. These are going to mount on each handle, and this is going to give us an XY axis as well as the Z button, and that enables us to turn things on and off that will lock on and off. And then over on this side, this is our bag of goodies. We've got a rental kit, and the main difference in the rental kit is it's got clip-on claws, and we use all ram mount products here just because they're top quality US made products just like ours. And we've got in here, we've got an extension, as well as we've got a claw. And what this claw does is it'll go to the base of the stick and it'll claw onto it, and it enables us then to quickly be able to unscrew it, move it from handle to handle to handle. So we can just take this simply out of this machine, move it to another machine if we're moving the attachment from side to side. So that's the rental kit. Then we've got the permanent kit. The permanent kit has 3 types of mounts. So we've got these little clamps, these little green clamps with magnets. So if you have nowhere to mount them, you can actually just put it on here with magnets, or you can take the magnets off and you can screw and tap into the frame somewhere and mount it. So that's one method. We have the tabs. So we always include the tabs, and those are right here. There's 2 styles of tabs that are meant to go on these blocks. One style of tab goes right here, and what this does is this mounts onto this and allows us to put the 14-pin directly on here. There's also another style that will take this that you'll see on some of the Kubotas, as well as I believe case machines. And then we've got this offset tab, which also enables us, we can put it on here. So depending on how our hose arrangement goes or how our protection goes, we can install this as well. So you've got actually 4 different ways of mounting the 14-pin. So we think we've covered everything that's possible in combinations to be able to mount it, and that's all included in the permanent kit. As well in the permanent kit is there's base mounts to go, because what we're going to do here is we're going to mount into the base here, into the boot. And the reason we do that is that we want to get the handles as far out of the way as possible so that they're not in the way of our hands. So we're able to actually grip our joysticks with our hands. So that's the main idea there. So we're going to start, we'll start doing the install now, and you can see how it all goes together. So there's a couple things we have to get access to. First is the ROP, so we want to be able to flip this up. The second is we want to be able to access the base of the sticks here, and most machines have this little rubber boot where you can pull it back. And what we want to do is we want to get access to this little spot right here, because we're going to put our clip, our ram mount clips onto here, and then we're going to connect all the rest of our linkage on so that it's all down here, so that we're moving this, it's not in the way. So first of all, so there's that, and first of all right here, here's the ROPs. Most machines are like this. You've got a couple nuts with fixed bolts or studs down inside here. There'll be a plate, and there'll be a nut, and there'll be the same thing on the other side. I've already loosened this off to make it easy. Nut. Okay, so I've just finished clamping it in here. You can see it's a really good solid connection. A little bit tighter here. So this is not going anywhere. What I want to do before I cut this boot, I want to make sure it's not interfering. That's the first thing. Yep, looks good. I want to clamp my joystick on and just be sure that I've got a good range here so that it's in a nice position, because that's the whole idea. This is to make this ergonomically work well for me. And so now here I am. I can actually operate my handle as well as I can operate my joystick, no problem at all. And once this is clamped down firmly, this isn't going anywhere. So it becomes part of the stick. So, and it gives you, if you look here, your leg's not going to hit it. It's out of the way when you're getting in and out of the machine. So this is the nicest system I've ever seen as far as being able to operate attachments and work intuitively. So now what we'll do is we're going to run this down. This part's going to go down under the ROPS into the engine compartment, and then we're going to put the controls section in. Okay. So I've got the base in place now. I've got the boot pulled back over. I can feel where the bump is. And all I'm going to do is put a little slit here so I can pull it through. And I want to just make it as small as possible so that it seals. So that's maybe a little too small. Okay, so now it stays sealed, and I can put my base extension on. I've got full operation here. Everything works. Okay, I've got it installed now, and I'm just doing a function check here. And over here, there goes Craig. Okay, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to run the wiring down through the ROPS, and we'll go underneath and hook up in the engine. Run the cabling from the joysticks down the back of the armrest. There's actually locations there where you can push the wires through, so I've done that. And now all I'm going to do is lift the ROPS up, which I haven't done in a long time. You can hear it lock in place. That's a good sign. That's so that it's you don't want to have it falling on you now when you're underneath. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my wires down through here, and I will locate a good position to put the controller, and then we'll go from there. So we've hunted around for a position to pull this cable through, and the only thing we can find that's easy to get to and puts everything in a central location is to just slip a screwdriver down through the foam here, break it apart a little bit, which you can see I've already done for the camera. And then we're just going to slide this down through that position. And we'll just use the screwdriver to kind of help us persuade it through. And the whole idea of this is you want to protect the cable, but also keep it in a central location. Okay, so that's one. Let's do the other side now. There's a nice flat spot on the connector that enables me to push it through easily. There's our cables, and now we're going to hook up our box. So one of the things that we want to have here is we want to find some metal that we can put the magnets on so we don't have to start drilling and tapping and trying to get it on here. These are 120-pound magnets, so there's plenty of force here to hold it on. We just have to find a good surface. We're going to give up a little bit of the foam here, and the reason for that is this is about the only metal surface that I can find here. All of this is plastic, and that's not good. So we want to be in the middle. We want to have metal, and we want to have a nice position so that we can run our cabling. So I'm just going to cut this out, just the size of this box, like this, and I'll just pull all the foam out. Okay, so I've got the box mounted. Now I'm going to run the main cable and the power cable for the box. If you look up here, you'll see, here's my joysticks coming down. I've got it crossed over, and that's because the way the controls go, this is the A side, this is the B side. So the A stick is on the left side, the B stick, or the B side has the right stick. So that's all laid out. And now we're just going to use this existing routing method here to go up and over. We're going to feed through and get into the main hydraulic chamber so that we can follow the boom out and get this out here. There's a 20-foot cable included, so you've got plenty of cable. There should never be a complaint that we didn't give you enough cable. It should fit in any machine. So you'll see something in your package. You're going to see this shrink tubing, and you'll see some zip ties. The zip ties are to help route the cable to keep them out of harm's way. And what these shrink tubing pieces are for here is they fit over top of this, and then what we do is we put them together, and then we will heat them up, and that will keep this from ever coming apart, as well as it will protect the connection from any kind of moisture. So that's what that's for. We'll do that later. Now I've followed the hydraulic lines through the cab here, and I'm using them to connect this to with my zip ties. Now I'm just going to push it up through the boom and out, and then we'll make the final connection. We're ready to go. So when this machine came out, the manufacturer had the 14-pin actually tie wrapped to the boom, and that is not acceptable on a skid steer. So I mag drilled this and then just ground it out a little bit bigger to get the right size. So I've always had a 14-pin installed. I'm just going to use this hole because I really have no longer do I have a need to use the Bobcat controls. So I'm going to run this fish up through the boom. I'm going to hook onto my 14-pin that I've already got pulled up inside there, and then I'll just pull it down through the boom, and we'll install it right here. Things go a little easier here. I'm just going to hook my fish tape into here. I'm going to secure it. My old faithful red-green standby duct tape. This will just help it slide through there as well. Okay. I'm gonna push it down through here, get it started, and then hopefully it'll come right out the other side. So I've just fished the cable through the boom here. This is the 14-pin connector. I've put the nut and the locking washer on here. So I'm ready to go on this end. There's my 14-pin off my boom mower. Okay, so that's good to go. I'm just gonna go up in the cab now and I'm just gonna terminate the power. We're gonna do it the easy way here, just to speed things along in the video. But you can do it the hard way as well, which is wiring it into the cab, going up the main side post there. But what we're gonna do is the easy way, and we're just gonna plug it in the cigarette lighter. So let's go over how the controls work. On the left joystick, if I've installed this correctly, when I move the joystick up, it'll cause the boom to be raised. If I push it down, it'll allow the boom to be lowered. If I move it to the right, it'll push the boom out. If I move it to the left, it pulls the boom inward. Now on the right control, if I move it up, it causes the boom to move forward, meaning it'll swing from the side to the forward direction. If I push it down, it'll swing away from me and towards the back of the machine. If I move it to the left, it's going to cause the head to rotate inward. And if I move it to the right, it'll cause the head to rotate outward. Now when I want to turn the mower head on, I have to hold this center button down for about 10 seconds. And the reason I do that is because we don't want to accidentally turn the mower head on just when we're driving across a field and maybe our hand hits this. We don't want that to happen. So what we want to do is we want to hold this. You can feel a little click when you push it in. We push it, it goes click, we hold it for 10 seconds and the mower head will start. Now if there's ever an emergency where we have to shut it off, you just tap it and it'll shut it off. And we have to go through the sequence again where we hold it for 10 seconds and then the mower head comes back on again. And that's it. That's all it is to operate this. You've got a joystick on your right. You've got a joystick on your left. We've got a power connection here. We've got a power indicator on the top. And that's it. It'll operate practically any 14-pin attachment available today. Thanks for watching.